Welcome to Oracle's Trending Topics discussion. Today, we're exploring the sustainability theme of net zero and how companies can start to address their net zero goals and commitments. I'm Doug Smith, Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Oracle, and we are blessed to have an amazing partner ecosystem. Joining me today are Laurence Bellenguez from Accenture, Nicola Peill-Moelter from VMware, and my colleague, Rich Kroes from the Global Sustainability Group at Oracle. Welcome, everyone. To start, can I ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and share your role at the company? Laurence, should we start with you?
Thank you, Doug. My name is Laurence Bellenguez. I have the pleasure and distinct honor of being the industry strategy lead for Accenture for our Oracle Business Group, both in North America and globally, and in conjunction with that, leading our global sustainability efforts within the business group. So pleasure to be here talking about this very important topic.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Nicola.
Yes, thanks, Doug. Yeah, Nicola Peill-Moelter. I'm the Director of Sustainability Innovation at VMware. And my role really is to find ways that we can innovate through our virtualization solutions and user computing solutions to help our customers reduce the carbon footprint and environmental impacts of their digital operations by making it more productive, helping them renewable energy power those workloads. So it's an exciting time to be in this industry. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Rich.
Doug, Rich Kroes. I manage our global sustainability program here at Oracle. So basically I have our two hats. One is to help look after what we do ourselves at Oracle and our supply chain and our data centers in all our facilities. And the second hat is to really help our customers think of ways to make sure that our customers are enabled in their journeys to be more sustainable. So exciting work. Looking forward to the discussion today.
So let's start with today's landscape. You know, over the last couple of years, especially, we've seen how the landscape around sustainability and the drive to net zero has changed. It's become far more top of mind for businesses. Stakeholder needs have become more prevalent with demands from customers, investors, employees, and regulators as well. And so, I'd like to start with, what are some of the actions that you're seeing from enterprises in reaction to the changes in market demands? Where are businesses accelerating their work towards net zero, and maybe a little bit about where you see them falling behind versus where they need to be? Nicola, I'd be curious, maybe you could kick us off.
Sure. So I think I like to think of sustainability as not very different from, say, where security was a decade or so ago, where it wasn't top of mind for most businesses. It wasn't designed into solutions. And then it became more and more mission critical as we saw increases in security breaches, and companies started to understand they needed to design it in from the beginning, not as an afterthought. And as you mentioned, we're seeing increasing pressure from customers, from investors, from consumers about sustainability. And I think because it's a whole new area, that there's a whole discipline, right? A knowledge base that you have to start, right? So I think some companies saw this coming. It's very much like that S curve, right? You have the visionaries who see it coming from many miles away, and then you have early adopters, and then you have mainstream, and then you have laggards. And I think we're starting to see that mix of companies now that had early recognition that this was coming, and also recognition that it's sort of you can innovate significantly through the lens of sustainability, in the sense that you could recognize where is the opportunity to improve our solutions, improve our products, improve our processes, not only to save money, but to just invent new ways of doing things. So I think that those are the early movers. Now the mainstream movers are starting to see the need. This is now table stakes, and we will lose out to our competition if we don't act. So I think it's, and certainly in different industries where sustainability, depending on your customer base, has a bigger impact or not from your products. But I think it's really across most product bases now, especially there's a lot of visibility in the cloud space. Data centers, a lot of pressure, a lot of visibility So if you're not moving yet, I think you need to get on top of this.
Well, and I'd love to build upon what Nicola just mentioned around, we have a lot of our clients that are asking us, how do you build it into the operations of the business, right? It's got to be within the fabric. And we approach it as three categories. We've got environmental, which is really where net zero transmissions and transition aligns, but also the sustainable value chain, as Rich mentioned, and sustainable technology with the data centers. But there's also two other dimensions: sustainable customer experience. So, we know that 56% of U.S. consumers will stop buying brands that they believe are unethical and are really preferring to do business with companies that act sustainably. And also, how do you build in a sustainable organization, right? Technology is one aspect, but people is the other, right? And so how do we look at I&D, human rights, and the effectiveness of that to be able to drive towards ESG? So, we talk about our clients needing a purpose-driven strategy that has a clear line of sight on sustainability. And I think that then enables, as we see these massive transformations, right, with everything that's happened in the last couple of years, the digital transformation, the migration to cloud, it enables those transformations to embed sustainability and to really be a catalyst for accelerating their progression towards their sustainability goals. So, I think it's all about having it be embedded so that we can help, not just from products, but also from services as far as helping our clients.
That's a great point.
We've had the same experience. It's frankly, it's made it harder, right? We've been trying to embed sustainable thinking in the organization for years now.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a push model, if you like, and we've really shifted from being in this sort of push mode of educating and raising awareness to this pull model now, where both internally and externally, we're getting asked to do all kinds of things to help really operationalize sustainability. Which it's not an easy trick, right? It's something that you don't just install some app and then off you go. It's really thinking about, as Laurence mentioned, the people and the processes, and how do we build it in? How do we really bake it in and embed it? And but over the long-term strategy, that's the way to go. If we're really going to make a difference, if we're really going to change behaviors, we really have that kind of data and decision-making kind of centered around sustainability as an additional parameter in that process.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for that perspective, Rich. Laurent, just to build on something you said a minute ago, I think one of the elements we seem to be seeing is the need to embed sustainability into one's business and product plans, versus more of a bespoke manner of addressing it later. Really appreciate everyone's thoughts on perhaps some examples of where embedding is most critical, or where you've seen it done well.
So I'll actually start with some work that we're recently doing with one of our clients in utilities. So, utilities are a late adopter, if we think about it, on cloud migration. But they really articulated a very thoughtful sustainability strategy. And it anchored on two things. One was net zero transition, right? Not too surprising. And wanting to take advantage of the cloud. And in parallel, how should they be engaging with their customers? And really making energy efficiency accessible to all. And so as they reimagined and thought about their modernization program, we were able to actually take their strategy and kind of how they had articulated it and actually embed it in the transformation program, so that what we are doing is, while they're not ready to move their applications to SaaS, they were ready to be able to take advantage of a cloud infrastructure. So that was something that we were able to clearly tie back to their sustainability goals and embed that into the transformation program, which they had not originally thought of. And then to really also embed customer experience. As I said, that sustainability aspect of how do you make energy efficiency accessible to all. So we went from just a pure, hey, I'm replatforming some apps, to a transformational program that had embedded sustainability in it. And for me to be able to have an opportunity to actually see a program have that element, which, I would have said 5 years ago, that would not have been something that our clients would have said, hey, I expect you to bring that to the table. So that's an exciting evolution to see how we can service our clients in a better way, leveraging, the technology that, Oracle, VMware, and others are bringing to the table to make that happen fairly quickly.
Yeah, awesome. Rich, how are you seeing it play out, in Oracle and with customers, this embedding versus a bespoke approach?
Yeah, I think a great example from our vantage point is on the hardware side of our business. And if you don't design the sort of thoughtfulness around energy efficiency and designing for recycling and designing for servicing really upfront, it's locked in. It really, of course, there are iteration cycles that happen for every product. But these products are going to be in service, hopefully for a very long time, right? To maximize their useful life and before they get reused or recycled. But if you don't do it right at the beginning, it's really, it frankly just doesn't get done right later on. It's going to be the next generation. So we actually had a design for environment workshop for some of our engineering leads. And we brought in some of our recycling partners, and to see the light bulbs going off that, what I'm designing here, yes, it's about cost, it's about performance, but it's also about what happens at the end of its useful life. That was a really amazing experience. And again, that's something you have to do at the beginning. That's not something you can sort of fix later based on what the initial designs were. So it really is important to think about it all the way through the life cycle, right from the beginning.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think if a lot of companies, when they first start an ESG, environmental social governance, or a sustainability program, they tend to look inward, which is the right thing to do, right? So you think about, well, what are our own impacts that we have, and where can we improve, and starting with metrics and measurement and what we call materiality assessment, like where do we have big impacts? But there's generally a recognition at some point that the biggest opportunity companies have for impact is through their products and solutions. And this is an epiphany that VMware had, in the sense that, yes, we could do a lot to reduce our own carbon footprint and through energy efficiency, renewable energy, dematerialization in our offices and our data center operations. But we recognize that we could actually help our 500,000 customers make their data center operations more efficient and better use their infrastructure capacity through our solutions, and that we could build on what we were already doing to help our customers do that. With that, again, that lens of sustainability that then brings business value to the customer, as well as helping them along in their own sustainability journey. So I think it's a recognition of, we have to clean up our own house, we have to manage better our own house, but then we also, what opportunity we have through our products and services.
Hey, Doug, just want to add one more thing to that too. Kind of thinking about another common scenario is also around contracting, right? So working with your suppliers, that moment when you're about to sign that contract with your key suppliers, that's the moment when you need to say, hey, you know what? In addition to all these other things like price, quality, and performance, we also value sustainability. And by the way, we want your products we want you to give us information about the impacts of your products. We want you to share with us how we can collaborate. If you don't do that at that critical point early on, it's just a missed opportunity. People move on, or you've lost a bit of your leverage. So be very clear up front what your expectations are in terms of sustainability as part of these different critical phase gates in your business.
Yeah, those are great examples of where building it in is just so critical to success. So thanks for sharing those. Enjoying this episode? Find other Trending Topics episodes at oracle.com/trending topics.